It has certainly been a tough season for the Macomb High Bomber football team this season, but one positive is that tonight is senior night for the Orange and Black and will mark their final game of the season against Bloomington Central Catholic. The Bombers are just 2-6 on the year and will welcome the 4-4 Saints to MHS Field in the season finale. This season will mark the second consecutive year the Orange and Black won't make the playoffs after reaching 11 of the past 12 seasons. Meanwhile, a win for BCC would make them eligible for the playoffs, which would be their 11th straight year reaching postseason. Last week's game against Mater Dei featured 5 touchdowns in the game's first 5 minutes, and both teams are heading into this week coming off a loss. Kickoff is set for 7 p.m. And the Western Illinois football team will play host to the 23rd ranked team in the country tomorrow. The University of Northern Iowa Panthers will make the trip east to Hanson Field from Cedar Falls, Iowa for the Missouri Valley Conference matchup. Both teams are coming off games in which they lost in the final minutes following game-winning field goals. The Leathernecks had a big weekend against Illinois State, led by quarterback Trenton Norvell, who completed 21 of 35 passes for 310 yards and threw for 3 touchdowns. Wide receiver Lance Lenore had a career day, catching 12 passes for 195 yards and a pair of touchdowns. The defense came out strong in the game and forced 3 turnovers, one being a David McDaniel interception. That tied him with senior Martinez Davis for most active career interceptions. That game between the Panthers and the Leathernecks is set for 1 p.m. And the Leathernecks basketball programs hosted their annual media day at Western Hall.
With that being said, I really like this team. I think the energy, the enthusiasm, they show up to work each and every day. They show up to produce, and that's one thing that we talk about. It's one thing just to show up and punch the clock. It's another thing to show up and produce.
That was the new head coach right there, Billy Wright, who leads the team that lost some key players to graduation, and their head coach of 6 years, Jim Molinari, to Nebraska. Returning senior Remy Roberts-Burnett is the longest tenured player on the roster and likes what he sees from the team after just 2 weeks of practice.
I actually think we're pretty close now. I mean, every day we come in here, work hard, and the new guys, they're working hard as well. So, I mean, we coming in, we just work. We had the old guys come back, they're playing fantastic, and we got the new guys who just want to play hard.